back. McDonald's is experimenting with their drive-thru and their fast food chains. They're adding artificial intelligence to drive-thrus. CNBC is reporting that the fast food chain has installed AI robots in 10 Chicago McDonald's, so it doesn't have to employ as many humans. McDonald's insists it's just experimenting with the technology. And let's talk about this now and welcome the founder of Papa John's Pizza, John Schnatter. John, great to see you.
Good evening, John. How you doing?
I'm doing well. I mean, this is the task that restaurant owners are faced with. They're having a hard time hiring employees. The business doesn't work out. You can't just pay folks, $25 an hour. Their margins are so thin in the restaurant business. So robots are the answer. Do you think this will work out for McDonald's?
I think anything that's innovative, that increases productivity and service, it makes the business more productive. I think it's a winner. But you never lose the human touch in any service business. And at Papa John's, we are heavily dependent on our great people to do the job that they do. And so innovation, yes. Technology, yes. But you got to have the human touch in there.
Yeah, this is one thing you hear from a lot of restaurant owners, that they're having a hard time filling vacant positions. You also hear about the Biden administration wanting to raise taxes on businesses. These two things are just, some of the headwinds facing the restaurant industry as a whole. Do either of those things actually help out the economy, though, in your opinion? Raising the minimum wage and raising taxes?
The heartbeat of America, 80%, is small business. The entrepreneurs that wake up and make this country great with their teams. And we'll take the Keystone Pipeline. That was 4% of supply. They cut that off. Then you have, the mix-up with the pipeline, and before you know it, you've got gas prices going up $1.50 or so. You've got this situation where you're over-regulating. The red states right now, we are actually able to get employees back to work. Blue states, they're paying people to stay home. What we do every day is very difficult. It's very hard. It's very arduous. And to pay people to stay home disincentivizes them to work. So long and short of it, I don't like all these increased taxes. I don't like all these regulations. I like an increase in minimum wage, but I like it stair-stepped in so it doesn't kill the small business owner. And I don't like the fact that we're getting less dependent on our own oil reserves and more dependent on other oil reserves.
So you like the idea of raising the minimum wage?
Oh, yes, you have to pay people a good wage, a decent wage, but you can't, from $7.50 ballpark to $15, you're doubling. That will destroy the business model at store level. If a business and an entrepreneur doesn't make money, they're not going to reinvest. They're not going to build other restaurants. They're not going to survive. So absolutely, you want to increase minimum wage, but you want to do it in a methodical, disciplined way so that you don't hurt that entrepreneur.
Yeah, the argument from Democrats is that if you raise it to $15, they call it that's a living wage. Obviously, there's a different living wage if you live in New York City versus someplace maybe in rural America where the cost of living isn't that expensive. But what would you consider a living wage, and does every job need to be the type of job that you have to support a family or buy a house? Whatever happened to the idea of an entry-level job for kids?
Right. When I was growing up, minimum wage was anywhere from $1.80 to $2.35 back washing dishes at Rocky Sub Pub. I don't like the living wage concept. I like the starting wage. We all start out at the bottom. All entrepreneurs start out at minimum wage. And I think you start out, you learn to work, you learn to be accountable, you learn to be disciplined, you learn to show up, you learn to do a good job, and then you save, you work, and you get ahead. And I don't know anybody at Papa John's that's doing a really good job that doesn't move off, $8, $9, $10, $11, $12 real quickly. Because if you don't take care of your people and you don't pay them well, they're going to go somewhere else. So I think starting wage is a better connotation than a working wage, a living wage.
Yeah, I think a lot of people would agree with you. And, shout out to all the people who have washed dishes in a commercial restaurant before, me being one of them. That is a tough job. Real quickly, I wanted to talk to you about your lawsuit as well, John, because you made a decision to release the audio tapes from the incident in question that led to your dismissal from the pizza chain. I listened to the tapes. It's I think very enlightening stuff. But what I think your message was, and correct me if I'm wrong here, is you were warning everyone about the divisiveness of this type of stuff. You were talking about kneeling in the NFL, and this only causes more problems. We've seen that since this incident happened a few years ago with you. Is there any vindication here for you?
Oh, absolutely. We now have established that it was a setup. We haven't established exactly who was part of the setup. Long and short of it, we know the head of, you listen to the tape, all the heads to be of laundry service were part of the setup, part of the conspiracy. I find it very difficult to believe that the leadership and the executive team at Papa John's didn't know that laundry service was setting me up. So is Papa John's complicit? Definitely passively, but most likely between two of the executives, the head of governance and board of director Mark Shapiro and the CEO Steve Ritchie. I think they co-conspired with Casey Washerman, the laundry service. Those are the ones that set up. The board went along with it, and they did tremendous damage to my employees and to my franchisees.
All right, well, we did not have an opportunity to get their side of those accusations yet, but we want to stay on top of the story and follow up with you because, you know, I think some of the things you said were prescient in there, predicting we'd see this division down the line if this was pursued. Yeah. Interesting stuff. And also want to remind everyone you have an article about the business side of our conversation up on Newsmax.com about how America's small business can survive the COVID, but not tax hikes, as we were indicating. John Schnatter, great to see you. Thanks so much. We appreciate it.
All right. Thank you, John.
Hey, I'm Rob Finnerty. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please join the conversation in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe, too. Hit the bell icon to be alerted to breaking news. And remember, there's a whole lot more on Newsmax TV, America's fastest growing cable news network. Newsmax TV, we're real news for real people.